Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Hope Madden.
And this is It's Movie Time, the most violent year. Is this like opposed to this year or last year or any time which is so violent in our civilization? What is this?
Well, I think it's supposed to give you context for the film because it takes place in New York City in 1981, which is historically the greatest crime wave of modern history in the city. It's not, I don't think, a great title for the film. I don't think it, in fact, I think it may be sort of off-putting, to be honest.
Yes.
It doesn't give you a lot of sense of what you're about to see at all, although it does give you a context for why certain things are happening.
Yeah. So it's a crime drama?
It is.
But not a usual crime.
Yeah, it's not exactly a gangster film. You got like gangster around the edge, but it's not exactly. Oscar Isaac, he's the lead, and the film drops you into the story in progress. It doesn't give you a lot of exposition, and you gather that he's recently purchased a heating oil company from his father-in-law, who isn't in the film at all, but you gather was a bit of a gangster.
Right.
And his wife, played by Jessica Chastain, still has a bit of that in her, actually. And is forever, so he's trying to be a legitimate businessman. And she's forever just threatening, if this doesn't go well, you know where I'm headed.
You know, well, he uses the line, I love the line, he wants to do the best right thing.
Right.
Which
the
is,
best right thing.
Right, it's not quite the right thing,
not
but it's
exactly
close.
the same.
And I thought that's perfect because he doesn't want to get drawn into the crime world.
Right.
And yet his tankers are being hit on by mobsters. That is the trucks that are carrying the oil.
And his truck drivers are being beaten and abused by the mobsters so that they can get the trucks.
And they want to carry guns, and that's illegal, and he doesn't want to get into it. So it's fascinating. He's trying to buy a huge piece of property on the river that would make a big difference in his business.
It's like the sustainability, the future of his business. And it's interesting because that's what sets up the tension. As we open, he's about to close this deal. He's brokering this deal, and he's got a certain amount of time, I forget how long, just a few days, to get the financing together. 30 days to get the financing together. So then we follow the next 30 days to see everything that happens that thwarts his possible, chances of getting this money and what he has to do to get the money and get everything else ironed out.
Yeah.
It's a very tense, slow boil of a movie.
Oh, with Albert Brooks as his attorney.
So great.
Oh,
so great.
Playing it absolutely straight.
Yeah. He's great. He's great in this movie. And it reminds me, because it was a very different role, but he was so great in a small, pivotal role in Drive, also with Oscar Isaac.
That's right. Yeah. Oscar Isaac. I thought I was so insightful when I saw him. So I told Johnny and others, you've got to see him. He's the new Al Pacino without the edge. And everybody in the world figured that he was.
But it's hard to miss. I mean, he just, that's what he looks like in this film. And he's not, the sort of Godfather version of Al Pacino before everything was a explosion of,
right, and no Scarface.
No. But he's just back. And it's funny because it's very much set in the time period. It's so well placed in 1981, which is funny to me. It doesn't seem like it would be that remarkable of a time period, but especially Jessica Chastain has that sort of the Crystal Carrington outfits on all the time, like right out of Dynasty, and it reminds you of, I think, sort of the golden era of like American cinema with the Sidney Lumet and the Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, Sidney Lumet.
That's exactly what it looks like. And so I think the Al Pacino image really fits well in with these films.
And he's wearing this beautiful camel coat.
It's gorgeous.
That I think Pacino, maybe in The Godfather?
It could be.
Yeah,
I mean, he very much looks. He does. He looks a lot like an early Pacino.
I think that camel coat is a tip-off.
That could be.
That he's ripping off Al Pacino. But
it's an homage.
It is an homage. It is. So where's the thrill? Where's the conflict in this story?
Well, really, it's nothing but conflict, and I think that's there's so much. It's sort of pervasive, but our main character is just always trying to just, make peace and settle things and keep things even, that for me, it made the whole film just like a simmering mess. It was, and the other thing, and this is always for me, if I do not know where we're going, you get an extra star. You know, and there's a particular chase scene in this film which is an incredibly well put together. It's and I remember the whole time going, I have no idea what's going to happen now. Like, I have no idea what is going to happen now.
Isn't that funny how many chase scenes we have witnessed?
Yep.
And I'm thinking the same thing that you are. This is an unusual one.
Yeah.
I mean, don't go through tunnels and places where you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Very good. And,
you know, and you have a sense of who the guy is, but not really, honestly. Who's he working for? What's going on here? What's he going to say when he catches him?
Right.
What's he going to do when he catches him? Is he going to catch him? I mean, it's a rare thing anymore
and you know
to truly have no idea what's going to happen next in a film.
You know what's also good about that sequence is that our protagonist, I think his name is Abel Morales, and they get the morale there, that it would seem uncharacteristic of him to be so athletic in going after this guy because he's been so kind of withdrawn and serene and cool, and all of a sudden he's taken off.
Well, they show him several times that he's a runner.
Yes.
Several times in the movie
one.
they show him as a runner, and so
You're
he can sustain in a way that the other guy, kind of a schlubby guy, isn't going to be able to.
That's good. Yeah, I had forgotten. Jessica Chastain.
She's always wonderful, and it was a great role for her. Didn't you think?
Oh, I thought it was superb. I mean, she's playing a tough chick.
Yeah.
She's, her dad was a mobster.
Yep.
And as you said, she's ready to step in. She's been handling the books.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got this whole other, not quite subplot.
Right. Just another complication. Just another thing making things tough on him.
Yeah, and you have the lieutenant.
DA.
The DA.
Right.
Played by
David Oyelowo.
Yeah.
Who was so magnificent this year in Selma.
In Selma. He played Martin Luther King. And it's a completely different role here.
Yes. He's a politician looking to advance his causes, and he has been undertaking kind of a secret investigation of all of Abel and all of his cohorts. I mean, all of his competitors, the heating oil industry, apparently. And so that's why, one of the reasons why Abel can't get him to stop these people from hijacking his trucks. And he's just so earnest in his plea to please, and David Oyelowo's character is like, you know what, we have a lot of crime right now. This is not that high a priority for me. I mean, he's just enough of a weasel. There's just a hint of weasel in him that you're like, oh yeah, he's a politician first.
Another place that I so enjoyed was when he's negotiating for the property with the Hasidic owner.
And so she has to stay outside. Oh, there are so many great... And it's just she has so many great, just barely audible lines they're all about context. And if you're not really following what's going on, you don't notice what she says. But she gets off some great lines. She's disrespected, she believes, throughout the film.
So the film is called A Most Violent Year. I agree with you. It's an awkward title.
It is.
It's not bad. It just doesn't do justice to what I think to be one of the best crime dramas to come along in a long, long time.
Oh, I agree with you. And it just makes you want to go back and seek out a lot of films of the late 70s and early 80s. It just makes you a little nostalgic.
So Hope Madden, I think you're going to give it higher than a C. That's just my prediction.
I think you might be right.
What's your grade here?
A. I'm going to fill an A.
And God, I guess you're going to be so surprised. Mine is a solid A2. It's A Most Violent Year. No, it's not 2015.
No, it is not.
It's 1981, New York City. But then any year in New York City.
Yeah, it does seem that way.